Think about that moment you first turn the key in your brand new shiny pickup truck. That heavy door closes with a solid thud. The engine rumbles with power, and for a second, you feel like the king of the road. You've worked hard for 20 years, you've put in the overtime, and you finally told yourself that you deserve this. But then, 30 days later, that first bill arrives in the mail. Or worse, it's automatically deducted from your bank account. You look at the number, $900, maybe $1,200, and suddenly, that new car smell starts to smell a lot like stress. If you're over 40, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We grew up in a world where a truck was a tool. It was something you used to haul hay, move furniture, or go fishing on the weekends. It was basic, it was rugged, and it was affordable. But somewhere along the line, the script changed. Now, the average full-size truck costs $80,000. That is not just a price tag, that is a massive weight around your neck. And today, we need to have a serious, heart-to-heart conversation about why this $80,000 truck mistake is quietly stealing your freedom, your retirement, and your peace of mind. Let's look at the reality of the situation. Most of us are living in a cycle where we work to pay for things that allow us to get to work. It sounds like a joke, but it's a trap. You buy an expensive truck because you want to feel successful. You want to feel like you've arrived. You want to be ready for any tough job that might come your way, even if the toughest thing that truck ever hauls is a few bags of mulch once a year from the local hardware store. To pay for that truck, you have to work longer hours. You might have to say yes to that extra shift when you'd rather be at your kid's ball game or just sitting on the porch with a cold drink. You are trading your most valuable asset, your time, for a hunk of metal that loses value the second you drive it over the curb. When you're 20, you have time to make mistakes. When you're 40 or 50, time is no longer on your side in the same way. Every dollar you send to a bank for a truck loan is a dollar that isn't working for you in the market. We're talking about the opportunity cost, but let's keep it simple. It's the cost of what you could have done with that money instead. If you took that same $1,000 a month and put it into a simple index fund, over 10 or 15 years, that money turns into a literal mountain of cash. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is the difference between retiring at 60 and being forced to work until you're 75 because you needed a heated steering wheel and a tailgate that drops with a remote control. Is a truck useful? Absolutely. Do some people actually need one for work? Of course. But let's be honest with ourselves. Most of the trucks we see on the highway today are Pavement Princesses. They are luxury SUVs with a bed in the back that never gets dirty. We've been sold a dream by clever marketing departments. They show us commercials of trucks climbing mountains and towing massive boats through the mud. They play on our desire for ruggedness and independence. But true independence isn't found in a chrome grille. It's found in a bank account that says you don't have to go to work if you don't want to. True freedom is the ability to walk away from a job you hate because your cost of living is low. When you sign a 7-year or 8-year loan, which is becoming the norm now, you are essentially signing away a decade of your life. Think about where you were 8 years ago. It feels like a lifetime, doesn't it? Now imagine being tethered to a high interest payment for that entire duration. Think about the stress that adds to your marriage. Think about the what-ifs. What if the economy shifts? What if your company downsizes? If you have a paid-off, reliable, older vehicle, you can breathe. If you have an $80,000 debt sitting in your driveway, you are a slave to that payment. You can't take risks. You can't pivot. You are stuck. And it's not just the purchase price. Let's talk about the hidden thieves. Insurance on an $80,000 vehicle is sky high. Registration fees are based on value, so those are higher too. Then there's the gas. These monsters drink fuel like it's water, and with prices being as unpredictable as they are, you're basically giving yourself a second mortgage just to drive to the grocery store. Then come the tires. Have you priced out a set of tires for a modern truck lately? You're looking at over $1,000 just to keep the rubber on the road. It is a constant bleeding wound in your finances. I see it all the time. A guy works hard for 30 years, saves a little, but spends every extra cent on a rotating door of new vehicles. He turns 60 and realizes his wealth is sitting in his garage, rusting away and losing value every single day. He has a beautiful truck, but no freedom. Meanwhile, the guy next door drives a 10-year-old sedan or a simple paid-off mid-sized truck. He might not look as cool at the stoplight, but he has a six-figure brokerage account. He's the one who is calm when the news talks about a recession. He's the one who can afford to fly across the country to see his grandkids whenever he wants. We have to break the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. The Joneses are broke. They are stressed out, they are medicated, and they are one paycheck away from disaster. Why would you want to keep up with that? We need to redefine what success looks like in our 40s and 50s. Success isn't a high monthly payment for a status symbol. Success is freedom. Success is time. Success is having choices. Imagine for a second what your life would look like if you didn't have a car payment. Just close your eyes and feel that for a moment. That extra $1,000 stays in your pocket every single month. That's $12,000 a year. In 5 years, that's $60,000 plus interest. That's a kitchen remodel. That's a once-in-a-lifetime vacation, or better yet, that's the foundation of a retirement that allows you to actually enjoy your golden years instead of spending them greeting people at a big box store. The $80,000 truck is a mirage. It promises power and freedom, but it delivers the exact opposite. It delivers a cage. It ties you to a desk or a job site long after you should be done. It robs your future self to satisfy your current ego. And look, I get it. We all like nice things. I'm not saying you should drive a junker that breaks down every week, but there is a massive middle ground between a total clunker and an $80,000 luxury tank. If you really need a truck, buy one that's 5 or 6 years old. Let someone else take the massive hit of depreciation. Let someone else pay that initial $30,000 loss the moment it leaves the lot. Buy a vehicle for what it does, not for how it makes you look. Because at the end of the day, no one at the stoplight actually cares what you're driving. They are too busy worrying about their own payments and their own lives. You are sacrificing your freedom for the opinion of people you don't even know. This is the Clarence Invests philosophy. We aren't just talking about numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about the quality of your life. We are talking about being able to sleep through the night because you don't owe the bank a fortune. We are talking about the dignity of owning your life. Every time you see one of those shiny new trucks on a commercial, I want you to see it for what it really is. A giant, shiny, expensive vacuum cleaner designed to suck the wealth right out of your pockets. If you've already made this mistake, don't beat yourself up. Most of us have been there. We've all bought something we couldn't afford to impress people we didn't like. But the beauty of being an adult is that you can make a new choice. You can sell the truck. You can downsize. You can admit that the payment is too much and decide that your freedom is worth more than the leather seats. It might be a hit to your pride for a week, but the relief you'll feel when that debt is gone will last a lifetime. Think about your legacy. What do you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind a pile of old vehicle titles and a story about how you always had the newest truck on the block? Or do you want to leave behind a legacy of financial stability? Do you want to show your children and grandchildren that true strength comes from discipline, not from debt? Do you want to be the patriarch of a family that understands the value of a dollar and the power of patience? The math doesn't lie. If you are 40 years old and you avoid the $80,000 truck mistake and instead invest that money, you are looking at a difference of nearly $1 million by the time you hit 70. $1 million. Is any truck, no matter how many cameras it has or how much it can tow, worth $1 million of your future? The answer is a resounding no. We are living in a strange time where debt is treated as a normal part of life. We are told that everyone has a car payment, so it's okay. But just because everyone is doing it doesn't mean it's smart. In fact, if everyone is doing it, that's usually a good sign that you should do the exact opposite. The majority of people are struggling. The majority of people are stressed. If you want a life that the majority of people don't have, you have to start doing things that the majority of people won't do. And that starts with looking at your driveway and making a hard decision. Don't let your vehicle choice steal your freedom. Don't let a marketing campaign dictate your financial future. You are smarter than that. You've been around the block enough times to know that stuff doesn't bring happiness. Only peace and freedom can do that. Choose the life you want, not the truck the world says you should have. Because when you're 70 years old, sitting on a beach or traveling the world, you aren't going to look back and wish you had a 2026 model with the blackout package. You're going to be glad you had the cash to live your life on your own terms. That is the real American dream. Not the one on the television, but the one you build for yourself, brick by brick, dollar by dollar. It's about being the master of your own destiny. It's about looking the world in the eye and knowing that you don't owe anyone a thing. So, take a long look at that truck payment. Ask yourself if it's helping you build that dream or if it's just a very expensive way to stay stuck. The choice is yours, but remember, freedom isn't something you buy at a dealership. Freedom is something you earn by saying no to the things that don't matter so you can say yes to the things that do. Let's start making better choices today. Let's stop making the $80,000 mistake and start building a life that is actually worth living. You've got this. You've worked too hard to let a car salesman take it all away. It's time to take your power back. It's time to invest in yourself, not in a depreciating asset. It's time to be truly free. Let's dive deeper into the psychology of the upgrade. Have you noticed how once you buy the truck, you suddenly feel the need for all the accessories? You can't just have a stock truck. You need the bed liner. You need the tonneau cover. Maybe you feel the itch for a lift kit or those oversized tires we talked about earlier. Each of these small additions adds another $500 or $1,000 to the tally. It becomes a hobby that only goes one way, out of your wallet. This is what economists call the Diderot effect. It's the idea that obtaining a new possession often creates a spiral of consumption which leads you to acquire even more new things. As a result, you end up spending way more than you ever intended just to keep everything looking right. Think about the physical toll of the stress that comes with high debt. At 40 plus, we start to realize that our health is our real wealth. High stress levels lead to poor sleep, weight gain, and heart issues. When you're lying awake at 2 a.m. wondering how you're going to cover the insurance, the truck payment, and the upcoming mortgage all in the same week, that is a physical cost. You are literally trading years of your life, not just in terms of hours worked, but in terms of your actual lifespan, for a vehicle. Is any leather-trimmed interior worth a spike in your blood pressure? And what about the message we're sending to our kids? They see us prioritizing a cool truck over a family vacation or a college fund. They learn that success is measured by the logo on your steering wheel. We have a chance to teach them something different. We have a chance to show them that being a man or a provider means being stable and wise, not flashy and broke. Imagine the impact of sitting your teenager down and explaining why you're driving an older vehicle. Explain the math to them. Show them the compound interest. That lesson will be worth more to them than any inheritance you could ever leave. Let's talk about the truck as a tool myth one more time. Many people justify the $80,000 by saying, "I might need it to tow something." Okay, how often do you actually tow? If it's twice a year, did you know you can rent a heavy-duty truck for about $150 a day? If you rent a truck for 2 weekends a year, that's $300. Compare that to the $12,000 a year in payments, plus the extra gas and insurance. You are paying a $11,700 just-in-case tax. That is some of the most expensive insurance in the world. You could literally pay a professional hauling company to move your stuff every single month and still come out ahead by thousands of dollars. The depreciation curve is another silent killer. An $80,000 truck will likely be worth about $40,000 in 5 years. You just set $40,000 on fire. That's $8,000 a year, or about $666 a month, just in lost value. You haven't even put gas in it yet. You haven't paid the bank their interest. You are losing money while the truck is parked in your driveway overnight. When you buy a used vehicle that has already taken that hit, your cost of ownership drops through the floor. You might lose a few thousand over 5 years instead of 40,000. That is how the wealthy stay wealthy. They don't buy new, depreciating assets. They buy assets that go up in value. Think about the freedom of the beater. Now, I'm not saying you should drive a car with a door that's a different color, but there is a special kind of zen that comes with driving a vehicle that is already broken in. You don't worry about where you park it at the grocery store. You don't have a heart attack if a shopping cart bumps into it. You don't care if it gets a little dirty or if the kids spill some juice in the back. That lack of preciousness is a form of freedom. You own the car. The car doesn't own you. You aren't a slave to the perfection of a high-priced status symbol. As we get older, our priorities change. We start to value experiences over things. We want to see the Grand Canyon, visit the small towns in Europe, or just have the time to go for a long walk in the morning. When your fixed costs, your bills that stay the same every month, are low, life becomes very easy. When your fixed costs are high because of an $80,000 truck and a big mortgage, life is hard. You have no margin for error. You have no wiggle room. The goal of Clarence Invests is to help you build a life of margin. Margin is the space between your income and your expenses. The wider that space, the more peace you have. An $80,000 truck is a margin killer. It eats up the space that should be used for your future. It forces you to live on the edge. Let's look at the 84-month loan trend. 7 years. Think about how much the world changes in 7 years. In 7 years, your kids might go from middle school to college. In 7 years, you might go through 3 different jobs. But that truck payment will still be there, lurking like a ghost in your bank account. Most people get tired of their vehicle after 3 or 4 years. But if you have a 7-year loan, you are underwater for most of it. That means you owe more than the truck is worth. You can't even sell it to get out of the debt without coming up with thousands of dollars of your own cash just to hand the keys back to the bank. It is a financial prison with no easy exit. Why do we do this to ourselves? It's often because we feel like we've worked so hard that we deserve a reward. And you do. You absolutely deserve a reward for your hard work. But is a debt-filled truck a reward, or is it a punishment? A real reward would be a paid-off home. A real reward would be a retirement account that allows you to quit working whenever you want. A real reward is the feeling of being bulletproof when the world gets crazy. If you're watching this and you're feeling that sting of realization, good. That sting is your common sense waking up. It's that part of you that knows you're capable of more than just being a consumer. You are an investor. You are a builder. You are a provider. And builders don't build their houses on sand. They build them on solid ground. An $80,000 truck is sand. It's shifting, it's sinking, and it's not going to hold up when the storms of life come. So, here is your challenge. Sit down tonight with your bank statements. Look at exactly what your vehicle is costing you. Not just the payment, but everything. The gas, the insurance, the maintenance, and the depreciation. Add it all up. Then, imagine what that number would look like if it were going into a retirement account or a freedom fund instead. The numbers will shock you. But don't let them discourage you. Let them motivate you. Decide today that your freedom is not for sale. Decide that you are done being normal, because normal is broke and stressed. Be the guy who drives the older truck and has the biggest bank account on the block. Be the guy who is relaxed because he knows he can handle whatever life throws at him. That is the ultimate status symbol. That is the real flex. Not a shiny truck, but a life of total independence. Thank you for being part of the Clarence Invest community. We are here to talk about the things that actually matter: your time, your money, and your freedom. Because at the end of the day, those are the only things you can't get more of. Spend them wisely. Don't trade them for an $80,000 mistake. Your future self will thank you for the choices you make today. Let's get out of the trap and start living the life we were meant to live. It's never too late to make the right move. Sell the truck, buy your freedom, and let's get to work on the things that truly matter. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.